Hey, you guys, both of you guys. Hey, YouTube. Hey, Facebook. Um, I'm so excited for this double live stream. Anyway, just let me get positioned and we'll get started. I hope you guys are good today. I had kind of a trying day today, but all is well and all is doing good. So just let me get really positioned so you both can see me. Both sites, both Facebook and YouTube, can see me. Um, okay. Um, so welcome to both of you. I'm just really happy that you both sites are joining me this week. Last week it was only YouTube, but this week it's YouTube and Facebook. So I'm just trying to get a right so that you both can see me. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so here. Okay. This will take some time. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so just let me make sure that YouTube, that Facebook can see me, as because I know now YouTube can. But just let me make sure that Facebook can. And everything's all right there. And then when I make sure that everything's all right on both sites, I'll continue. Yep, everything seems to be all right on both ends. And I'm so happy that you both are joining me today. Hi, guys, on YouTube and Facebook. I'm just so honored that you are able to join me today. Well, this is my second live video. It's something I'm doing aside from my Saturday sermons called Sunday Storytime. And what Sunday Storytime is basically, you on Facebook know I'm a writer and I love to tell stories, and some of you on YouTube know this as well. And I started last week Sunday Storytime, which is basically on Sundays I tell a story. I tell a story, sometimes a story that I've already written down, or sometimes I shoot straight from my head. And for you guys on Facebook, since this is your first week joining me live, you can catch up with last week's installment of Sunday Storytime via YouTube. I think I posted it on my page, or just go to the live portion of my YouTube channel and you'll see it there. But I think I posted last week's on my page. But you on Facebook know me anyway, most of you, most of my YouTube fans are from Facebook. So last week, I did a little introduction on myself, and and I told a little story about a mechanic. So if you Facebook, if you want to see that installment, you can go back and watch it on YouTube. Um, and this week's installment of Sunday Storytime is called Love's in Bloom. Okay. This story begins with a fictional celebrity, Scott Venice. Venice is a playboy. He loves women. He loves the celebrity lifestyle, whooping it up and whatever, and things like that. He loves the limelight. He loves being in the tabloids, and he loves movies. And what happens is basically one night at a club, he he thinks he's picking up a girl, and then this girl starts talking to him and chatting him up and flirting with him and giving him the flirty eyes. This really hot woman that he thinks, okay, I'm going to take her home. It's going to be great. It turns out that the woman is actually an undercover cop, and he thought she was a hooker, and that he was going to pay her for her time and whatever. So after he gets picked up by the cops for solicitation, his manager says, "Hey, look, we need to clean up your image." And his management team comes up with the idea of him doing a reality TV show called Love's in Bloom. But what this reality TV show is, basically, he is with 15 women in a mansion, and every week, instead of just one rose, he gives to them their favorite flower, right? So whatever the woman's favorite flower is, he gives that flower to the woman. So when he's about to start this the show, his management team thinks it's a good idea for him to make nice and meet the florist. The florist they're going to be taking the flowers from every week. So when he goes in to meet the florist with their management team and with the crew and with who they'll be working with, he meets this family called the Prezizio family. They are a small florist in a small town, and they have a daughter. Rebecca, who is a Christian. The whole family is a Christian family that this show is getting their flowers from every week for the ladies. So um, when he meets Rebecca, there is something about her that makes him uncomfortable, that makes Scott really uncomfortable. He can't he can't see what it is, but there's something about the whole family that is different. Something so kind and so generous and so loving. He's never met uh, so, someone like them before, and they're not. This family is the Procesio family. Is not impressed by his celebrity like everyone else is. And this girl, Rebecca, is totally not impressed by him at all. She thinks he's cocky, and she thinks he totally needs to get a wife. And so this show um, begins. And when the show begins, he kind of is going in there to kind of clean up his image and maybe have some fun with some women in the process. But there's something about Rebecca that he cannot get out of his mind. And after the first week, he requests to go back with the producers and and to pick up the flowers for the following week of shows. And Rebecca, she loves to read. She is smart, she's well read, she's cultured, she's everything else. And while the producer, he thinks he can wow her like he does every other woman, but he can't. And he
Call from mom.
he tries the
Call from mom.
let me excuse me, I just need to
Call from mom. Call from mom. Call from mom.
sorry about that, everybody. We all have a mom, I guess. So anyway, when he tried to chat up this girl, I can't talk right now.
Hello?
I can't talk right now.
Why?
Mom, I can't talk right now. I'll have to talk to you later.
Okay, call me back. Bye.
Sorry. So he tries to talk to this girl, and she is not accepting any of his lines. She's just totally just not biting. So basically, he says, "Well, what do you like to?" Well, she makes a reference to Kill a Mockingbird, to Kill a Mockingbird, which is the classic novel. She says to him, "Well, you're no scout." He says, she says, "Well, you're no Atticus, and I'm no scout. And so that's the reference that she makes. And he says, well, what do you mean by that? And she gives him the book To Kill a Mockingbird, the classic novel. And what happens is basically um, he goes to no actually he goes to the library to find To Kill a Mockingbird. She doesn't give it to him, but he wants to get to know her and to get to date her. But he's she's he's got kind of striking out with her. So what happens is he intends to just read a few pages of this To Kill a Mockingbird just to get the gist of the book and to know what he like to have something to talk with her about. And as he starts to read, he enjoys the book so much. He reads it all in one night, and then the next week when they have to go to pick up the flowers for the, from the for the show, he talks to her about the novel, and she is impressed, and they have a really intelligent conversation about the time, about racial prejudice, and about the themes of the book. And at the end of the conversation, he's like, "Do you have any other books for me to read?" Because he was surprised that this one book opened his mind, because he's never read before for pleasure. Never mind classical literature. He's only read contracts and scripts and stuff because he's an actor and a model, and he's never really opened his mind to anything else. And he he really respected Rebecca for introducing him to Kill a Mockingbird. So he asked her if she has had any other titles for him to read, and she suggests a couple of other titles for him to read, and he goes by the um he goes into the library and buys those other titles, borrows those other titles, reads them in a day, and discusses them with her. And then this happens uh, quite a few times where he goes in, she gives him a few titles, they talk about it, he reads them, and they develop a relationship uh, because due to their love of reading. And then one day, when he asks for a book, um, she gives him, she's like, I'm not sure if you would be open to reading this, but um, I'm going to give it to you anyway. It's my favorite book of all. And then he says, what is it? I'm open to reading anything you have to share with me. She gives him a Bible. And this um, Scott has never gone to church or never done anything like that. And he is like offended. He's like, all you religious people are the same, and he blows up at her. And he's like, I don't want your stupid Bible. And she says, well, take it anyway. You may never know. One day you may need it. So he takes it roughly and walks up. He's like, I can't stand you religious people. All you want to do is push your God on people. He's like, I don't need God. I don't need religion. I don't need rules. So what happened is he had Scott has a friend, a best friend, who he he grew up with in his in Calif in his small town USA. They played basketball together. His name is Tony. And a day after he blew up at Rebecca, um, Tony tells him, "Man, I need to tell you something, and can we meet for lunch?" And he says, "Yeah, we can." And then and then so Scott meets Tony for lunch, and after a little bit of small talk, Scott says, "What's up, man?" And Tony says, "Man, I have stage 4 cancer. Um, and the doctors say I don't have much time." The doctor says I don't have much time, and I don't know what to do. He's like, "Man, I've made so many mistakes. I've played with so many hearts of so many women. We played together, and I just don't want to do that anymore. I'm about to die, and I don't know what to do." So Scott goes home, and as he goes home, he actually says he actually starts to cry, and because Tony has been his best friend for years, and what happened is he remembers the Bible that Rebecca gave to him. So, so what happens is he takes it down and starts to read it, and reads from Genesis and the creation story to Exodus, all the way through the Old Testament and the New Testament, and he gets to the stories of Jesus, and he sees how Jesus died on the cross, and the miracles of healing that he did. And he said, um, and he just started to cry because he he saw that Jesus never changed. And if Jesus could do that for all those lame people and blind people and deaf people, if he could heal them, why not his friend? So um, he shares, they meet for coffee about a week later. He shares with Tony the gospel, and Tony and him both read the Bible and want to discover this Jesus. And Rebecca, he now calls Rebecca and says, "Tell us more about the word, about the Bible and the Word of God." And Rebecca meets them both for coffee the third time, and she shares with them how simple it is to become a believer, and what Jesus did in her life. And they both that day they both submit themselves to the Lord and become believers. And um, because of the uh, power of God, Tony joins a church that prays for him and fasts for him and all of that stuff. And through praying and fasting and medical things such as uh, chemo and cancer treatments and everything, um, Tony gets healed by the power of God and totally restored. And Scott becomes on fire for Christ. And while this thing was happening, this bachelor like show, Light, Loves, and Bloom, was still going on, but he didn't want to do it anymore because he was now a believer and he just didn't feel that it was right for him to do this show anymore. But he couldn't get out of it because he signed a contract. And if he was going to get out of the contract and just didn't want to do the show anymore, they couldn't do it. He had to either do the show or get sued. And then he prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and said, Lord, what do I do? And because he didn't want to do this anymore, not so much because it was wrong, but so much it was because he started having feelings for Rebecca, and he didn't think it was right to date these women and then still have this woman that he really loved, was really beginning and starting to love. He didn't think it was right. So he's like, Lord, get me out of this. You know what is going on. You know me and you know Rebecca. And you know that we are meant to be together. So when he told the producers that he didn't want to do the show anymore, he told them why. He said, you know what, I'm a Christian now and I don't feel it right in my spirit to do so. And he told them the story of Rebecca and him and how she came from a small Christian family and how she introduced him to books and how the last book she gave him was a Bible, and how his friend got diagnosed with cancer and he read the Bible and got saved and all of that. And the producers were so intrigued um, by what was happening with him and Rebecca. They said, okay, well, we'll cancel the show and then have a special about how you and Rebecca met and fell in love, and you can talk about your faith. So that's what happened. So they had this TV special, and um, so Rebecca and Scott shared their story, how they met, how they fell in love, and how Jesus was at the center of it, and how every, every day that Scott came into the store, um, Rebecca said, use me as a vessel, not knowing that not only would Rebecca be used as a vessel, but that would be her husband. And so, how the story ends is basically while everything is going on, like they just bring a whole bunch of people to Christ with that TV special because people want to know more about them and more about their love story, and they just go on in ministry together sharing the gospel. So I hope on both Facebook and YouTube that you guys enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed telling you the story. Join me next week for Sunday story time. Thanks. Bye. Be blessed. Take care. So, YouTube, I will talk to you soon. Take care, y'all. Bye.